Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of HOI4 1000-Week Reich. Last month, a huge Russian update came to this mod, which introduced new paths and new countries to Russia in 1000-Week Reich. When I first played the new order as Russia in this channel, I played as Sergei Tabaritsky, one of if not the most extreme unifiers of that mod. So let's continue that tradition. Today we will be playing as the Buryat military Arkug, and we will be unifying Russia under the Russian national state and Konstantin Rodashevsky. And without further ado, let's begin. The situation in Buryat military Arkug is nothing short of bleak. On the far right, the once fledgling Russian Fascist Party has seen a surge in popularity among the population that frequently finds itself without food and shelter. On the far left, the revived Socialist Revolutionary Combat Organization has caused overstretched administration even more stress as they fight both RFP black shirts and government forces in the streets of Ulan-Ade. With law and order rapidly breaking down with every passing day, the Buryat General Command has decided to finally take action against the terrorists plaguing Buryat. With our forces already stretched dangerously thin, there will only be enough state resources to snuff out one of the dissident groups rampant in Buryat. The perfidious Marxists must be stopped. Alright, and now in the focus tree we have unlocked a path to fight socialism in our country. And it is now up to us to finally put the socialist disease to rest. And after carrying out a series of anti-Marxist activities, including burning their pamphlets and disbanding their communes, we can now enact Operation Vladimir. And here, with Shalamov's death, the SRCO have dissipated into irrelevance. Alright, and that's our Marxist dealt with. And now that we have eliminated our top priority targets, we began to turn our attention to those we considered less important, only to be greeted by sudden and almost total cessation of activity. While we're happy to leave them be if they've chosen to be silent, we can't help but wonder whether this is a ruse and something greater is coming. One can only wonder what is about to happen next. Riots on Christmas Day, on what was meant to be a holiday like any other, massive riots broke out across Buryat as dissatisfied protesters, terrorists, and state security forces clashed in the city streets and village squares. It couldn't happen at a worse time. And here, fascists flocked to Bodyabo. Already, their calls for a national revolution have become more popular than ever before. And finally, the unthinkable happened. The Russian Fascist Party has gained enough support to launch a general uprising with the intentions of overthrowing our government. The national revolution starts here. And there we go. With the collapse of the Jewish-controlled Buryat military district, we are now in control of all Buryat. As Konstantin Rodashevsky, we have a few things we want to do before we eventually take on the Russian Republic. First, we have the national restructuring campaign. Buryat shall become a model fascist state. Next, we can initiate the new White Terror, where we can also do a little heated gaming moment. And finally, with these paths complete, it is time for us to march to the sea and declare war on the Russian Republic. And with that, we have defeated the Russian Republic. Having defeated the degenerate international Jewish-controlled Russian Republic, Rodashevsky presented an ultimatum to all Russian splinter states and the Judeo-Bolshevik Toronto Accord that their time on Earth is now fleeting. Slava Vochu. Alright, and after even more integration with our newfound territory that involved recovering from the famine, reintroducing the curfew, and more heated gaming moments, the All-Russian Supreme Soviet will be convened to discuss the party's future. The victory was ours at the end of the day. Absolute control is established, but after our glorious revolution, we must mend the divisions within the party. As the delegates enter the ruins of the Vladivostok Duma, one thing is for certain. The future of the Russian Fascist Party and perhaps Russia itself is at stake. One of the biggest points of contention within the party, the question of what to do with Russia's Jews. You know, I don't think I can say that without demonetization. And on the Germans, actually, the Germans are our brothers. The question of splitters. Traitors like Vodnatsky belong in the dustbin of history. And finally, with the formal conclusion of the first Congress of Russian Fascist Party, the Congress has affirmed the Rodachevsky control over the party and halted the growth of the Matkovskites in its tracks. The news tightens. Now with Rodachevsky's power of the party absolute, our special division is carefully planning a strike against him and his clique. The Fudge will be matched no longer. You will either abide by the Fudge will or die. That was cheerful, wasn't it? So with that being said, let's move to a slightly lighter topic. Our Russian nation currently finds itself shattered. The Germans hold off West Russia and the Caucasus. The Judeo-Bolshevik Perm government retains Western Siberia and pieces of Central Asia. Central Siberia is an utter chaos of petty warlords. And then there is us, sitting in the Far East. It's time for us to move to unify Russia. The first on our target is the Soviet Republic of Novosibirsk, being involved in a bloody battle against the Perm Soviet government about which type of communism is better. They obviously wouldn't see us coming from the east, and we should be able to crush them with little resistance. It's time to march into the wastes. And there we go. After defeating the Soviet Republic of Novosibirsk, only one serious force remained to stop us from the reunification of Russia, which is, of course, the Perm Soviet government, the remnants of a Soviet regime that failed to defend our nation against the Germans. But now, decades of preparation have led to this very moment. Ever since the Russian Fascist Party spent its stay in Harbin, our Fudge wished to destroy the degenerate regime of Stalin and fly the swastika over the Kremlin once more. This might be our hardest war, but are we more than ready for Russia or the Fudge? Coincidentally, similar to the Soviet Republic of Novosibirsk, which was tied up in a war against the Perm Soviet government, it seems like our friend Beria here has got himself with a war against the Russian National Republic, and as a result our borders against them are pretty much unguarded. With the combined strength of us and the Russian National Republic, I'd say we have more than a chance against the Soviets. And will you look at that, the Russian national state risen from the ruins. In scenes reminiscent of the Red Terror, the black shirts were unleashed on the newly conquered Russian cities. Normalization of violence and ideological fervor led to the escalating and increasingly arbitrary violence and a chaotic breakdown of society, as even the slightest deviation from RFP orthodoxy saw people rapidly disappearing from society or even executed in public. The wheels of violence turns again. Now we only have one true obstacle before we can truly reunite Russia: the Russian National Republic. Unlike the Perm Soviet government and the Soviet Republic of Novosibirsk, we can actually negotiate with Moscow and offer amnesty to the Russian National Republic. But sadly, it is not to be. Pity. At last, we have defeated the Russian National Republic. And now it's time for us to reunite Russia. That was cheerful, wasn't it? Now, with our reunification of Russia done and dusted, we will make a conference with the Reich for our Western territories. We will offer token concessions as well as a very clear ideological ally. The conference will be fierce for us. Let's see if we can get our lands with our generous offerings. And negotiations break down, rejecting us as Untermensch, not worthy of carrying their Führer's legacy. The Germans have not only rejected our treaty but declared us eternal enemies of the German Reich. We might have to mobilize the national army sooner than we thought. Two racist anti-Semitic states competing to see who can eat at the most territory, I see. Alright, and after defeating all former Russian states that isn't part of the Neue Ordnung, it is time. It is time to liberate all Slavs, restore order to Germany's puppet Ukraine, and prove our superiority over the Germans, once and for all. And after our initial advances in Ukraine, it seems like the German troops have arrived at full might. Considering the state of the Ukrainian railway and the fact that our troops are extremely deorganized, I think it's best that we dig in for a while and go on the defensive. Alright, and after being pushed back for a little, I think the Germans are really starting to grind up on us now. And we probably have the capability to now launch small offensives to hopefully encircle and weaken German lines. Oh shit, my eyes left the Caucasus front for a minute, and this happens. Well, we should be fine, but this is still going to be quite tricky to deal with. And there we go, that is the Great Gotische Reich capitulated. The Germans are significantly weakened after our numerous encirclements. And this over here should only add to the wound. Right, and that is Ukraine gone as well. Only Germany left to go. There we go, the fall of Berlin. Germany's capitulation should not be far away. And there we have it. At long last, we have finally overturned our tarnished reputation of collaborators. With our conquest of Nazi Reich, the honor of the Russian people, which had been ground under the hue of fascism, has been restored. Now they're only under the hue of our fascism, which is, anyway. With Germania within our grasp at last, we can now set up a friendly occupational regime to administer Germany for the time being. Now with Germany's defeat and our control over Europe absolute, it is time to do one last thing and call the White International Congress. At long last, it's time to send invitations around the world to join the Fudge in this new White International. The founding Congress will be held in Petrograd over the next week to formalize the Russian national state's grand alliance against Bolshevism and Amero-Judaism. Inaugurating the conference was none other than Fudge Konstantin Rodashevsky himself. He ended the speech with a bold threat to the Toronto Accord, stating his desire to liberate North Africa from the vice grip of Jewish finance. The swastika shall fly over Washington one day. The first of the foreign representatives to speak at the Congress was the one representing the White Defence League of Great Britain, Colin Jordan. A staunch believer in the British Empire as a white ethno-state ruling over its inferior African subjects. Jordan said, while the British government is considered an enemy by the White International, the British race should not. Yeah, yikes. The next of the foreign representatives to speak was Jesse Benjamin Stoner Jr., a former of the KKK. The White International is the greatest conceptualization of the white man, and the last of the foreign representatives to speak at the Congress was the one representing the vast array of fascist and Nazi parties in France, René Binet. With allies like these, we are sure to win. And as the last of the major speakers have finished their speeches, the time to close the first White International Congress has finally come. As the Fudge spoke one last time thanking everyone for joining him, there was a newfound feeling of unity with everyone in the gallery, as if they were now all truly united in a single purpose, a global national revolution to tear the old order asunder. The founding of the White International. Odin narod, odna nacja, Odin Fudge. That was interesting to say the least. But yeah, that is our Russian playthrough completed. With the leadership of Fudge Konstantin Rodashevsky, Russia as well as most of Europe has come under the hue of fascism, and a dark age looms upon the world. So thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more HOI4 content. Leave any suggestions of what I should play next in the comment section below. I probably won't follow them, but until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.